Hello everyone and welcome to another episode of the I'll Try That podcast. This week I am joined by Matt Rich. Say hello.
Hello.
Do. Hiya.
And I timed that exactly so you'd say it right at the same time and it'll sound absolutely awful for the listeners. That's brilliant.
Edit.
It's exactly what you want.
That's exactly why I did it. Anyway, this week we are heading to the historic church farm in a beautiful Cuckmere Valley in East Sussex.
Cuckmere.
And of course, Cuckmere.
Cuck.
And
Yep,
Sussex.
yep, exactly.
Sussex, you say.
Cuckmere.
Cuckmere.
East
Let's get this
Sussex
cleared
way.
up right here and now.
That's it. So we're going to Cuckmere, the Cuckmere Valley on the church farm for Longman Brewery. Have you guys heard of Longman before?
I've not heard of Longman
When you gave
myself.
us these bottles of Longman was when I first heard of Longman.
There you go.
Have we been living under a cave? What's the problem? And should we explain about why you gave us these bottles?
Yes, we could start that off. So this is the first of our group swap of Cuckmeres. We're doing a bit of a swapping exercise of beers.
And this will be going on for 8, maybe 9 months.
Yes, we did swap quite a few beers, didn't we, in our last meetup?
Yeah, we're covered till
So that's
Christmas. Or just after. So
Well,
about that.
I think we'll go past Christmas if I'm quite
okay.
honest.
Yeah,
I think that's
and
the amount
I was
we've
going
got.
to make it sound like there was some orchestration and planning and preparation involved here, but did we even have a brief? We just decided that each of us was going to go off and get some beers we wanted the others to try, and then when we all met up just in advance of the London Craft Beer Festival, which you lovely listeners have no doubt all about before, in the morning beforehand, we exchanged beers and had a wonderful unboxing, just like a bunch of YouTubers session. Going, everything on in my box. Oh, it's some beer. And actually, we all got a little bit overexcited with it, didn't we? But we've now exchanged, and I don't know. Do we want to throw? I'll put it out to you guys. Do we want to throw a couple?
I think there's a lot. I think just
say what's coming up.
I think to tease. I think what we could tease is there's a whole series of great beers that, and the majority I think like 95% of them we haven't done before.
I think so.
Anything to do with the brewery. It's not like we're doing breweries we've done before and just different beers. There's one I think that of a brewery that we haven't done for a very long time, that we have one of their new beers out, and it's quite an exclusive beer. So I'm excited to try that one. But everything else is new to me, which I'm excited, actually. I'm excited.
And we've got some stuff from all over the world, which I think is quite good. We've tried not just to go for England and local to us, even though we have thrown in a few local ones, which I think will be nice.
Oh, I would like to know what the most far-flung beer we'll be tasting. Anyway, that's for another time. Should we? Should we?
I think to intersperse with that, to get listeners about our kind of roadmap of episodes, there's some very exciting kind of episodes we're going to be doing in collaboration with a few brewers as well coming down the pipeline. So watch this space, I guess, is the only thing to kind of tease out there for everyone in this possible teasing way. So let's do a hot topic. Chaps, who's got a hot topic for us?
It's not me.
I've got a hot topic for us today.
He sounds unprepared, but I bet
I'm once again just Googling. But we will go, since that it is fairly recent, we'll talk about Budweiser's latest marketing push. I think is maybe so.
Can I take a guess what this might be in relation to?
I think give it a go.
Is it football related?
It is football related.
It'd be the Women's FIFA World Cup then, won't it?
So the official beer of England once again is Budweiser. I think they've had a bit more luck with the marketing than they did with the Men's World Cup in Qatar.
Absolutely. Slightly less controversial, and actually they had nothing to do with it, did they, this time round? The controversies that came out of the FIFA World Cup this time round wasn't anything to do with beer. It was more to do with inappropriate kissing, as far as I'm aware.
Yeah. Just as a phrase, I do really like inappropriate kissing. Sorry, I don't want to make light of it because also that dude's a dick, man. But
absolutely, it's making a bad name for a lot of people. But I just think anyway. Budweiser is in a good place with this World Cup. We can say, in comparison to the last World Cup, they've done a good job this time around, haven't they?
Everything's coming up Budweiser with their new campaign and the nice new shiny marketing, amplifying and presenting the women's football team, which is, as we know, women's football in the past 2 years is 2-3 years has kind of jumped and gone up and incredibly in the spotlight, which I think
I'm not messing about.
Definitely needed.
I'm not messing about. Watching the Lionesses is so much more entertaining than watching England's men's team. It's so much more entertaining. Like the endeavour and, actual attempts to take teams on and go out and go and score goals. Sorry, this is not about beer. It's not meant to be about. Anyway, I'm far more up for watching the Lionesses now than I am for England's men's team. That's not about Budweiser. You can ignore me if you need to.
Well,
I tell you what, I enjoyed the tournament a lot. I watched because I had Jamaica in our work sweepstakes, and they made it all the way through to the semi-finals, beat Brazil.
You had skin in the game
for a while. It was so exciting. Yeah, it was great to watch it.
Well, that's good. I was just looking, so it looks like they've had all their special promotions, special World Cup limited edition packs, bottles and cans. And of course, they've had a whole range of competitions, scan to win, which I genuinely scan a lot of things and lose a lot of things. So
what do you mean? You're just walking around the streets just scanning.
Yeah, there's just loads of QR codes. It's probably why I got so many viruses.
Let's pull up that thread. No.
Moving swiftly on.
But no, it seems like they've put a real push behind it, which is nice to get it.
I think they're good. I think again you've highlighted the fact that no matter what gender this sport is, they're all about behind football and making a big play for it. And I think that's fantastic. And I think we've seen, as you said, we have seen us non-women football followers, probably got exposed to it the first time when England won the
Euros.
Euros. And I think the excitement around that kind of got people very interested in what was going to happen with the World Cup. So I'm pleased that there have been a lot of additional sponsorships and kind of people coming in behind football and wanting to advertise in football. Because let's face it, that's where the money is. If advertisers get around football, women's football, then more and more people are going to see it, and more people are going to get exposed to it, and obviously the value and the pay of footballers are going to go up.
While we're on marketing things, can I go? I was going to go off task, but actually maybe just adjacent to the task.
Okay.
There's two other marketing things I want to check to see if you guys had seen. Did you see the French national team's thing about the Women's World Cup?
Yeah, it was really good.
Was it a deep fake, or was they used AI? It's a deep fake. I'm sure that's not the right terminology, but
it might be. I think deep fake is very fair. I think it was an advert for Orange, the telephone communications company in France. Yeah,
I kind of spoiled the ending though, Drabbers. If you've not seen it, so basically they did a minute or two's kind of montage of great bits of play by the French team, goals being scored, players taking other players on, skinning them, going past them, wonderful shots on target, that sort of thing. And what they done is basically they had actually taken footage from the French women's team, and then superimposed the appearances of the men's team on it. And
really?
said,
clever.
Because to kind of challenge the perception that had been going around about women's football and it potentially not being living up to the men's game sort of thing. And then the big reveal at the end is, look at how we've done this. This is the women's team. We are 100 as behind them as we would be with any team carrying the national badge. And then everyone sort of went, oh right, that was from the French women's team, and it was this quite clever little reveal at the end as well, because everyone was so completely taken in by thinking this was from the men's game. So that was quite.
Well, I think everyone was just. I mean, I was just personally just taken in by what great football it was. It's like you would normally watch a football highlights reel. You're thinking great banging that goal in, that's a great team build-up play. It was just I think the parity, was the thing that was what made the reveal so much more interesting, because it was I've enjoyed that no matter what. And I think as soon as you relieve any biases that people may have, it addresses that, and you just enjoy football for what football's worth, and good football is always enjoyable.
But the other thing I was going to mention in the marketing world, and I don't know, we're probably not going to get the numbers on it, but I can kind of get, right, you know how like Budweiser go and sponsor the World Cup, and because they will, I don't quite know how it works with the distribution as well, but I assume like as a result they actually did get more people drinking Budweiser. But you know what always gets me is, and I don't know if you guys think it's the same. You know when like, the thing is, I know the answer as well. It's like a prestige thing. But you know, if you ever watch, I don't watch this, but you know, Formula One. And I'm sorry if anyone is a fan, but Formula One is dull.
Formula One is not dull.
Because you've watched Drive to Survive, and now it's interesting.
Yeah, it's really good.
Sorry,
I now follow Formula One because of it.
There are many great mysteries in life. Anyway, but do you think it's a bit weird? And the only one I can think of now is Rolex. But like you see them zooming round the course, and there's a big sign that says Rolex, and you're like,
yeah, because they do the official timekeeper or something.
And then you think, I bet Rolex have given the Grand Prix organisers loads of money for that. Do they then sell loads more watches? Because I don't think they do. I think you already know you want a Rolex before you go and buy one. We sat at the Grand Prix going, wish I had something to tell the time with. Rolex, yeah, okay. Walk into the shop and they go, how much?
Well, I can give you a very funny answer to that, or I can give you my next TED talk about why people buy stuff and consumer behavior. So I'll do the funny answer. And I think it's actually like, you're right. I think it's, no one's walking around going, oh, you know what? That big Rolex sign above where the cars go vroom past, that's decided for me. I'm getting a Rolex.
Yeah. I thought it was a cheap second-hand rubbishy watch, but then I saw them at the Formula One, and I must say,
Rolex. Yeah. Is that how you pronounce it?
I just assumed they were side by side with Casio. So
Casio did have a sign; it just didn't look half as good, basically.
But not to go too much into my TED talk. There is a reason why you don't just build that kind of like the return on investment of why you would do that isn't just because of monetary sales. It's because of brand
prestige,
image. It's about being associated with the Formula One. It's about the type of people who might be at the Formula One. Because let's face it, us sat in the stands, that's who's not buying Rolexes. It's those people in the boxes who are going to be sat opposite, who are going to be stood opposite with their champagne flutes. They're the people who are going to be buying Rolexes. So that will be placed in a way where they can see it when they're watching the cars go off or whatever. So, and when the cars go on. So
on that basis, let's all just have a little look down side of the sofa and that sort of thing, and just check your jeans before you chuck them in the wash. And maybe we should get an I'll Try That podcast sign up next Monaco next time. I think that'd be worth
right next to Rolex.
Yeah.
The only funny thing on that, I think, was always fascinating. I should bring to people, because obviously with the advent of social media and new digital marketing techniques and stuff, when you get targeted with ads, that's how algorithms think that you're like who you are as a person and how you're built, right? So
we're all going to be getting
targeted. Well, you might say Rolex enough times, they'll pick it up and they'll start doing it. But the funny thing that made me really laugh the other day, I was obviously on one with what I was searching for, because I started getting hit with Greg's adverts. And I was just like, okay, they've just, maybe I've looked for meat pies and something.
A sausage roll. Yeah.
So a very different one. So anyway, so if you ever want to understand like why you get targeted with things, it's because of what your search history is and what they've thought you are and stuff. So yeah, Rolex on that scale, on an out of home thing, is just trying to capture as many people about brand prestige. But the real targeted stuff, like what you're seeing in your Instagram feed, is what the algorithms think of you as a person. So take that as you will.
Shall we talk about?
Shall we go to Longman?
Yeah, exactly.
So we're going to another award-winning brewery. Okay, so these guys have won, and I say girls, guys and girls, have won an incredible amount of awards. They are from this East Sussex area, which is not too far from where I am in Tunbridge Wells in Kent, and the site looks incredible. So they're at the heart of the South Downs National Park, which, if you've ever been to the South Downs, is incredibly beautiful. It's like quite close to the coast. You've got this like picturesque, it's like real farmer like country, rolling hills type things as well, and they really go hard, this Longman Brewery, about doubling down on the provenance of where they're from. I'll talk a bit more and bore you all of the amount of sustainability, fantastic stuff that they're doing. I won't bore you, I'll tell you about it. But the Longman Brewery's tagline that they've gone for, and tell me what your thoughts on this, guys. Naturally excellent beer.
That sounds like they probably only use the 4 magic ingredients to beer. I reckon. I reckon they might. Or is it 5 now if we include love or rice? It's very easy to confuse love and rice, in my opinion.
Well, love and rice. I think in a lot of circles, love equals rice.
Yeah, that's also the name of my third album. No, sorry, to take your question more seriously, it sounds very appealing and it sounds, very en vogue, I'd say. It also speaks of that love for the ingredients, the constituent parts, which I was sort of merrily talking about before. But I think that's one that's going to appeal to a lot of people, really, isn't it?
Naturally, I don't know. I didn't think they needed to put the naturally. I just think you just need excellent beer.
and grabs his fee for his marketing consultancy. Well, presumably that's the point, is that they are, is part of their core. They'll have a bit in their values about the Longman. Is the Longman? I think I'm figuring out when Rob goes to laugh about what you just said. Is the Longman? Am I making? I've looked at the logo. Sorry, I'm jumping ahead of you. He's not. We can't get him back, can we?
Sorry, I'm listening. Sorry. Excellent beer. Why not just have beer? Just call it Longman beer.
Yeah, doesn't take so long to read that way, does it?
Yeah.
It's shorter.
Yeah. It's much more to the point. No one's got.
Sorry, you're talking about that's
up till
brilliant.
now they've been going, what is it? It's something beer. We've got to move on.
So the Longman is one of those big old images that are on like the side of.
He stole my bit. He stole my bit.
Oh,
what's
sorry.
going on here? It's fine.
Well,
no, go on, carry on. This is you can share it.
Yeah. Well, it's like
share your bit.
Did I show you guys the White Horse when you came down to Weymouth?
So a White Horse is like an art thing, isn't it?
No, so the White Horse was built into the side of. It was built into the side of a hill on your way into Weymouth to, I think it was King George
like medieval,
at the time, to basically
like
welcome him.
Right?
Yeah, basically medieval Banksy.
Oh, okay.
It was basically to welcome him.
I like how you put that into lingo that I would understand.
You get a nice green hillside.
Is another one.
You get a nice green hillside, and you what is it? Chalk? I didn't know, white rock.
It's white rock, basically. Yeah. It's pretty cool. Okay. He's got 2 staffs in his hand, like he's going to go and attack someone.
He looks.
So this exactly Longman is an actual thing, like in the real world.
Yeah, so it's an actual thing on the side. Like it's quite funny.
I'll use my snipping tool to show you.
So it's quite funny. Yeah. We've got another one near us, which has a rather large penis on him, sort of thing, which is quite funny. But a cheese company recently used the image, but took away the penis, and everyone was up in arms, like, "Why have you taken the penis off? Your marketing."
You can't censor the medieval
artist,
Banksy.
There's a joke in there that I'm not going to do, and we'll take that offline. But remind me later. Sorry, everyone, you're having us out on that one, but it's not safe for work. So there you have it.
Yeah.
I think we've pretty much done Longman Brewery now, haven't we?
Yeah.
So, can we go back to the beer? Because we haven't talked about the beer yet,
I was being tongue in cheek.
I see. Sorry, that went over my head.
We've all got long blonde.
Long blonde, yeah.
Yeah.
Long man, long blonde. That's how we like it.
A 4.1% light golden hoppy. Sounds about right, doesn't it?
Yeah.
I think it's that they kind of do 4 or 5 cores, right? Core beers.
Yeah.
And they do the kind of, rather than the crafty stuff, it's our old sort of cask favourites, right? So like a best bitter, the long blonde that we're all drinking now. Actually, sorry, I beg you, there is...
I was going to say, they are doing some interesting things here.
Yeah, I meant to say that there's an American, isn't there? Which is probably not...
The Rising Giant. Which I think is quite fascinating, called Rising Giant. And they have an old man as well. But that's only just their permanent casks. They have a whole section of small batch casks. Yeah. And they also have permanent kegs as well. So in your permanent kegs, I'll do that because it's a smaller list. You've got Hell's Lagers, Pales, Ales, Crafty Blondes, and Pilsners. And in their small batch casks, you've got Session Pales, Number 8s, which I'm not sure, I'll find out what that is, a Golden Tipple, a Long Rain, a New Zealand Pale, a Copper Hop, Sleeping Giant, a Pure Bumble, Indian Summer, an Oatmeal Stout, a Wild Man, and an Innkeeper. So there's a lot of different choice here and options.
Pure Bumble sounds great.
Mm.
Using Cuckmere Garden honey from their local bees.
Well, that does sound good, doesn't it?
Good.
Local bees. Natural rich, you see.
Nah, it's just beer.
So, beer. So going back to the Long Blonde though, because this is quite interesting. So I was enjoying this as a nice kind of entry beer. This is our first one of the night, of our first session. And I was thinking, this is actually a really tasty one. It's got what you'd expect, like quite citrusy. It's got that kind of honey, floral kind of like notes to it. It tastes obviously fruity. It is refreshing. I do enjoy it that way. And it is made up of water, barley, wheat, hops, and yeast.
Classic.
So all the classics.
Neither ice nor
all
love.
the classics are making a feature. But what I was amazed by, and it was solidified by just how much this beer is going down so well, is just how many awards this beer has won.
I was looking at that. There was like
Do you want to? Can you rattle off the awards in order?
I can do in a minute. Awards.
So I think that is an impressive list when you go through this.
Yeah.
Just, for our listeners' sake, just go through it as you.
So
nice
they've
pace.
got all the way back to
from the beginning,
2013.
Yeah,
we've got
for it.
The regional winner 2013 silver, and again silver for their American Pale, the gold triple, one bronze.
Oh, I wasn't going to do all the beers. I was going to do their Longman ones. But
I'm just looking. I'm just looking. They had a whole section dedicated to it, but I didn't see.
Sorry, mate, I'll let you do it.
Well, I didn't know the Longman had just one for their awards.
Mm.
Where's that? I can't find it. You might have to rattle it off.
Okay, I'll do that. So for their Longman, which is why I was solidifying why I really quite like this beer. Campaign for Real Ale 2014 named this beer the Sussex Microbrew of the Festival. The International Beer Challenge 2015, they got a silver for it. The International Beer Challenge 2016, they got a bronze. The World Beer Awards in 2017, they got a silver. Beer Awards 2017, they got a silver in the cast Best Bitters and Pale Ales. World Beer Awards 2018, they got a UK bronze for this. The Drinks Best the Business Global Beer Competition 2018, they got a bronze. The International Brewing Awards 2021, they got gold. The World Beer Awards 2022, they got the English Style Pale winner of that category. And the World Beer Awards 2022 for the UK, they got gold. So again, this is just, solidifying, I guess, kind of reinforcing is probably the right word, of actually they do know how to make a brew.
So I'm just quickly looking on the Long Blonde Light Gold, the bottle beer, and ours is 4.1%. It's currently saying it's 3.8 on the actual website.
Now, we've covered this topic in previous episodes. Who's listening and going back, pulling that from the deepest reaches of their back of their brains?
It's called, isn't it? I think that's what it's called.
Yeah,
where it comes out different sometimes.
So, draft is lower ABV from the pump than it is from bottles in most places, because bottles you get it they kind of have transportation and stuff. They brew it at a slightly higher ABV.
Well, there we go. That explains it.
Okay.
You got to remember, naturally excellent beer, Sabbers. So sometimes, things change. Also, sorry, I meant to mention, it's worth mentioning part of their slogan, rather. They will also be able to tell you a little bit more, if you investigate them a bit further, about their environmentally, sustainable practices. They grow a load of barley in the area around the brewery. So on that farm, about 500 acres of malt spring barley. And then after they've actually used it to brew, they have about 150 tons of spent grain that they actually then go and feed to the livestock on the farm.
That's good.
Water is drawn from and this was a new one on me, an aquifer beneath the chalk downs where they are.
What is an aquifer?
Yeah, I know. It was obviously going to have. It's going to have pumpy sort of welly vibes, isn't it? I mean,
aquifer is an underground layer of water-bearing, permeable rock fractures, or unconsolidated materials, i.e., gravel, salt, or silt.
Not a reservoir, basically. And then what
or it's a filter media pad.
Yeah, I got
whatever that is.
I googled and got boatyard. So it's
fair. But either way,
or it's a proudly Nigerian band called Aquifer. So I think that's
right. That's where they get the water from. Right with you. And basically, with the stuff that they have left over from brewing, again, goes back to servicing the farm, so they irrigate with it as well. And several other points. Loads of solar panels on the farm, so there's obviously a reason. There is a reason, after all, Rich, for having naturally in front of the excellent.
Okay, there we go. It's all very natural.
Yeah. Tasty though, I got to say,
Cool.
I'm taken in with
It's good, it's nice.
The liquid, as they say, is really nice, refreshing. Actually, that's why I was in need of a beer, maybe, but yeah, very refreshing. And okay, again, not like whack you over the head with the hops, which for me does seem to be the MO for a lot of these. But it's that sort of sessionable pale, isn't it? And you can see why it's done so well.
So Instagram, they have 5k followers, and on X, as we now have to call
Twitter,
it,
you mean?
it is Twitter. They also have 5k followers. So yeah, kind of growing kind of social media. But all their photos look fantastic. They all look in the farm, in the fields, with the beer. It's as you'd expect at festivals. They've even got a photo of someone in a combine harvester with a cocker spaniel in the cab. So it's like working farm kind of background. Pictures of bumblebees in flowers. Looks very
all looking quite natural.
Back to nature. Very natural, I would say. And that's all we have time for this week's episode of the I'll Try That podcast. And so from me, Joe,
Rich,
Barber, and Simo,
goodbye. Don't forget to follow us on Instagram,
Twitter,
I'll try that podcast.com,
and watch us on YouTube.
Goodbye now.